Hello and welcome to today's video as we go over T1 Killers. So what does this mean? Well, upper half internationals, best of 5 records, lower half domestic. So I did not include anybody that is 50-50 or less, and I tried to not include anybody domestically that's only played one best of 5 against T1, SKT, SK Telecom, SK Telecom K, SK Telecom S, whatever the fuck they were called, since about 2013 to now. Pretty much roughly just using Faker's record and then going from there. Roughly, of course, there were moments where he did not play for the team. I had 42 international best of 5s and then 65 domestic best of 5s. At first, I was going to do best of 3s and BO1s, but no, we're not doing that. So, best of 5s. Internationally, we see Wonder up there. We see Yankos and Perks. Got to remember those G2 rosters, right? Big reason why they had success. Against T1, of course, were, the crazy picks they had, and we are well versed in that. If you are, if you're somebody that's been around a couple of years, I guess. But the fact of the matter is, obviously, one of the best Western dynasties. Playing against T1, they were able to handle T1 quite well, better than any other Western team we've ever seen, to be quite honest with you. Now, there aren't even many players on here, if you really think about it. Over the 13 years now, going into year 13 of this franchise and various names therein, playing internationally. I mean, there haven't been many players that can come out ahead and say, hey, I have a positive best of 5 win rate. Kingen 1-0, Pioshik 1-0, Zeka 1-0, Deft 2-1, Barrel 2-0. We know what that's the DRX roster from 2022. 3 of those 5 players got their win on that DRX roster in the finals. Otherwise, they haven't played T1 internationally. Deft is 1-1 otherwise. The other win coming at MSI 2015, way back when. And we look at that and we say, well, Pawn's on here, Clear Love's on here, as is Koro. And if I recall, those 3 were on that EDG roster as well. So that's the way they got to win. It's kind of like you just get your one moment and then oh, well, they didn't play him again, so they're technically 1-0, Even looking at Khan, Showmaker, Ghost, and then Barrel again. That's the DK roster, or Damwon Gaming, whichever they were called at the time. Winning Worlds in 2020. And having success for many years, but really struggling to find that success recently. I mean, Showmaker's best of 5 record against T1 and roughly Faker is not that strong since then. But internationally, they got their shot in, and they did well. And you got to think, kind of, the way I'm talking about this, like, G2 went on to win that MSI after beating T1. Damwon won after beating T1. DRX won after beating T1. EDG won that MSI after beating T1. It's not to say beating T1 is guaranteed to get you a win, but to win, more often than not, you do have to go through T1 at some point in time. If you don't get past T1 in this even loser bracket or something, you're going to struggle even the last couple MSIs. Bin, Shun, Knight, Elk, On. That's the last 2 years, roughly, right? You got BLG's roster of the last 2.5 years, I guess. No, BLG 2022 didn't go to Worlds. Bin got screwed. That's the one win, though, was RNG. That's why he's got 4-1 and Shun's got 3-1. Knight's 3 wins, obviously, coming against T1 with BLG. His 2 losses with JDG and Top Esports, I think 1 in each. And then Elk 3-1 and On 3-1. No, actually, Knight, one of the losses came with BLG in this roster. Worlds that just happened. But point still is there. Honestly, those guys are the ones that have played multiple times against T1's roster and come out ahead. And we could argue T1, despite winning Worlds the last 2 years, having I would consider be one of the greatest 3-year runs we've ever seen. Because second, first, and first at the tournament, that truly matters more than anything else. Way more than any domestic title. As long as you get a spot at Worlds, that's where you make your money. So, you know, great run, right? And BLG have kind of been that best team otherwise, along with Gen G. Now, domestically, you see team players from back in the day like Looper, Dandy, and Imp. They had a lot of success in the mid to late 2010s against T1 and SKT. And maybe they don't really get thought of as a T1 killer because they did lose a couple times, but hell, 4-1, 5-2, 5-2 is pretty good. Imp's in the conversation for one of the best of all time. He's kind of like that player that people throw in as like a gotcha, like, oh, you think it's Ruler, you think it's Uzi, Viper now, Deft, but Imp. Why not Imp? Oh, you didn't watch back then, so that's where we get into this conversation of, okay, well, where do you get the idea that you can guarantee that this player is the greatest of all time compared to saying, oh, they're the greatest since I started watching, right? And nobody wants to, be that specific. But 3 great players against T1. We see Khan again, 2-0. Khan has had a great career against T1. He's played for T1 as well. Peanut, a player that played with T1. And you got Peanut, Zeka, Viper, Delight, Doran. Saw success on that HLE roster as well, and with Gen G. That's why he's 7-5 in best of 5s against T1, and now he's playing on T1 and taking a lot of heat. We saw the last couple days on Twitter. But Zeka, 4-1, 1-0. I mean, Zeka. So Chovy is a better player than Zeka, but Zeka has a better record in the moment. He shows up in a big way. Chovy's won an MSI, but he has not won a Worlds. He's won a couple domestic titles now, but he's 5-6 over his career against T1. When you take in Griffin, HLE, DRX, like he's kicked around. Zeka, on the other hand, 4-1. Viper, 4-3, played with that Griffin roster in the past. We have Delight, 7-2, because he played with Gen G and won, and then went and played with HLE and continues to win. Ruler, 4-3. We saw with Samsung and in Gen G. Pays 4-1 with that paired with Delight or Lahens. It didn't make a difference. Lahens otherwise struggling against T1. I think he was like 2-6 or 3-6 over his career in best of 5s against T1. But Peanut's record, is strong, 8-3. Someday 2-1 along with Arrow and Mata 6-4. We're looking at KT of old. And more important, Someday in Score. Someday in Arrow. Great careers, of course. Arrow and both of them end up going to North America shortly after their success, maybe a year or two or so. Departed from that KT roster. Just something interesting. I thought, why not go through this? Who's had success against T1? And I felt T1's a great team to do this with because a lot of people either hate T1 or you're a T1 fan and you like T1. It's like these players are the ones that have had success against T1 in best of 5s. Biggest moment, whether it's domestically or internationally. So thought it was interesting. Thank you for watching. Comment down below if you liked the video. Suggest another team if you want me to do another one of these. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.